There's always a beginning story about these skills. Well, when I gave birth in 1970, all women in the United States were basically lying on their back with their feet up in stirrups. And then the natural birth movement of this next generation of the 70s and the 80s were saying lying on your back is not a gravity plus position. And that's accurate. So let's have women then birth in what was called a semi-recumbent position, which was sitting up. And we learned right away that we were trading one bad thing for another. The way you learn this for yourself is lie on your back, put your feet up as though you're in stirrups, and feel how open your pelvis is. You're not in a gravity position for sure, but feel how open your pelvis is. Now get in what's called a semi-recumbent position, which is sitting back on your sacrum and your feet on the floor with your knees bent. You're immediately blocking the sacrum. And if you're blocking your sacrum, it's harder for your baby. Push the sacrum out and then come down and around the pubic bone. So we learned very early that positions that were being discussed in childbirth classes in the 70s and the 80s were giving women incorrect information. They were also saying that traditional women squatted in birth. Well, I've spent many years not working with birth, but I spent many years in developing countries, and I can tell you that most traditional women don't squat, period, and the ones that do squat with their knees in front of them, and not in the way that we see squatting, which is our knees way out to the side. So how do you know what it feels like in those two positions? Well, if you can squat with your knees out to the side, and pay attention to the muscles that run from the bones you sit on to your tailbone. Those are contracted in that position. Now rotate your knees forward, and you'll feel those muscles expand. We as women have been teaching each other to squat like this, which stops the sacrum from moving. We as women have been telling each other, sit when you birth, and we block the sacrum. We don't understand it because most of pregnancy and childbirth is now about making birth plans and not about the body knowledge of getting a big three-dimensional object out of your container.